Stranded with Fangs, a story about Alara and Ryan that learns to trust on a desolate planet.
Darkness pressed against the hull, stars flickering as the ship bucked and groaned, cockpit lights strobing red. The NAV board spat static. Ryan gripped the yoke, knuckles white, sweat prickling down his spine. Outside, the moon's surface spun, dunes, canyons, a smear of violent blue lightning on the limb of the world. The ship shuddered, gravity surging sideways. Panels blinked, shield integrity falling. Alarms snapped like angry wasps.
Warning, magnetic flux exceeding safety margins. Recommend immediate course correction. Also, you appear to be attempting acrobatics in a salvage vessel.
Ryan flicked switches. Futile, most were dead. The controls bit back, juddering under his palms. Hold together, he muttered. He tapped the emergency descent. Vents snapped open, heat roaring across hull. Then the ship lurched hard, gravity pinning him to the seat.
Shielding at 12%. Atmospheric interface in 5. Please remain seated. I will attempt to minimize your obituary.
The hull screamed. Then a gutting silence. Lights went black. Only moonlight and the stutter of arcing electricity mapping Ryan's hands as he braced. The ship punched atmosphere, gravity slamming, retro thrusters kicking. Every rivet hummed.
Deceleration nominal. By nominal, I mean non-lethal but not recommended by warranty.
Metal shrieked. For a heartbeat, the ground reached up. Impact shuddering through every bone, harness biting deep. Then silence. Static, his own breath, something leaking somewhere behind him.
Landing complete. Hull stress exceeds safety parameters. External temperature, to high for comfort. Emergency beer supply, 0. Good morning, Ryan.
Dawn slid in, slow and bright, painting the cockpit in stripes of smoke and ruin. Ryan hung there knocked out by sheer force, still alive in the battered ship. Dawn peeled the darkness back, first pale, then fierce, laying stripes across battered metal. Smoke still curled from fried panels. Electronics hissed, wounded, each relay ticking like a leaky valve. One amber indicator blinked, alive, but barely. The cockpit smelled of burnt plastic, stale sweat, the aftertaste of ozone. Ryan stirred. His body was a tangle of limbs wedged against the bulkhead, ribs aching with each breath. Crash harness had left a raw stripe across his collarbone, but everything still worked. He prodded each finger in turn, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, before bracing both hands and levering upright, boots scraping against torn insulation. He dug a water bottle out of his pocket, unscrewed it with stiff fingers, and took 3 careful sips, salty, metallic, but better than nothing. Each swallow cut through the dryness lodged in his throat. He pressed the scan toggle. Battered orbits lit the screens, faint green lines stuttering. Trace signatures, breathable air, dry heat already pressing at the hatch seals. 50 years since anyone set foot here. The main world, Aller, once forest and ocean and glass towers, had been burned clean by something worse than war. Glass from orbit. The invaders had called it pest control. Alarians exterminated like vermin. The planet had vanished behind storms. Magnetic surges, wild weather, no ship could get near. For half a lifetime, salvage crews circled but never dared the approach. Only lately had the storms thinned, letting scavengers like him risk a run, hoping for tech, for lost history, maybe for something still alive under the glass. Head aimed for Aller itself. Instead, the storm caught him, chewed up his ship, and spat him down here on this dead moon, with nothing but dust, fried circuits, and the ghosts of dead civilization for company.
Glassed planet, Exodus, nobody left but ghosts. Should have brought holy water. Or a better pilot.
He shifted, pushing himself upright with a grunt, then moved the hatch and shouldered it open. Sand spilled in, gritty and sun-warmed. He paused on the threshold, eyes scanning the dunes' mechanics inventory. Wind had scored the sand in looping eddies. Shrubs bent low, no tracks, no fresh scars. Nothing living, nothing hunting. He hooked his toolkit to his belt, kneeling to run hands over battered relays. Lucky, the beacon was fixable. The environmental systems, a tangled mess but still breathing. One problem at a time, he told himself, every motion slow but certain. Out here, patience with survival.
Landing geometry, suboptimal. Hull integrity, questionable. External temperature, dangerous for soft-bodied mammals. Also, your emergency beer supply is at 0. I recommend panic, or at least a cold shower, neither of which are available.
Ryan snorted, flicked a dead toggle, then squinted at the glare outside, jaw set. The cockpit already felt like a sauna. He wiped his brow, shoulders rolling, determined to get moving. Because nobody survived the desert by standing still, not even with a smartass AI for company.
Anything useful in your databanks, or just insults?
Plenty of both. Would you like a motivational quote, or a reminder that you left the aircon on at the last outpost? Neither will help, but I'm programmed to try.
Morning sun knifed through the cracked cockpit. The ship felt gutted, burnt air, scorched metal, faint whiff of coffee hiding old smoke. Ryan crouched by the galley locker, tearing open ration packs, most warped, some half melted. The environmental systems panel was a blackened nest of fused wires. He grabbed a strip of dried meal, tasted plastic and old salt, chewed anyway, grimacing. The stove's power indicator flickered, died. He prodded the wiring, shook his head, and gave up. Kitchen was dead until he fixed the external relay.
Supply status. Rations present. Nutritional rating. Suboptimal. 24 rolls of toilet paper located. Not edible.
Ryan grinned despite himself, fired up his battered hot plate, boiled water, and made coffee that tasted mostly of electrolytes and regret. He drank in silence, eyes on the dying panel lights. When the last red LED blinked out, he packed his tools, shouldered the maintenance bag, and ducked out, boots crunching on sand already sifting into the ship.
Caution. External sensors registering transient heat fluctuation. Starboard side. No life sign match. Pattern is irregular. Might be the wind. Or not.
Ryan paused, grip tightening on his bag. The hair on his arms lifted, haunted by that old certainty of being watched. He scanned the sand, squinting at shadows just beyond knowing. The desert outside glared. No tracks, only low shrubs and the trace of wind. Ryan circled the hull, peeled off a fried relay cover, and set the scanner to 22.6, low enough to cut through magnetic storm noise, hungry for any clean signal. Metal on metal as he loosened the relay. The scanner hissed, then a voice, layered in the wind, cut through.
Don't trust that reading. Apply shielding. Sheet metal or shorter leads.
Ryan jerked upright, gaze snapping sideways. A faint silhouette, barely a shadow, flickered behind the hull, then vanished.
Zed, did you catch that?
He swept the horizon. Breath tight, heart knocking. Just a shimmer at the edge of vision, already gone.
No radio traffic. No standard comms. Audio anomaly detected. Barely above background. Source indeterminate. Advise caution, Ryan. This is odd.
Ryan lowered his tools slow, no sudden movements, made himself small. He pitched his voice to the open air, careful not to turn his back. The sand glinted, empty.
You seem to know what you're doing. Come help me.
Can't. Not allowed.
He shifted onto his heels, gazed steady on the sand where the shadow had passed. No rush, no threat.
Says who?
The elders forbid contact.
Ryan caught the tremor, the way her words lingered in the hush. Not just fear, but something hollow in the wind between them.
Any of those I can talk to. It's lonely here. Bad food. No bathroom.
Silence, the wind, the hum of dead electronics, and his own hunger folding into patience. He stayed put, the hatch at his back, hoping she'd answer again. The sun had climbed, heat pressing against hull and skin. Ryan crouched by the relay panel, fingers numb, working through tangles of wire. He wiped sweat off his brow, thumb black with grease. Panel almost sorted, hunger gnawing at the edge of every thought. Near his boots, a kill, still warm. No wounds, just a neat, professional break in the neck. An offering. He didn't touch it, only looked.
Local fauna, species unknown. Mammalian, herbivorous, likely edible with sufficient heat application. Olfactory analysis suggests note of singed moss, undertones of damp laundry. Ingest at your own risk, but it's no more toxic than the rations.
You can eat that if you cook it.
Ryan didn't move. Hands open, eyes on the sand. A slow exhale.
Seems nice. You got any more?
Hidden in shadow, she shifted. Weight rocking, claws flexing at the edge of sun and ship. Her reply wavered, barely louder than the wind.
Zibo. They're tricky until you know their trails. I've been feeding on them a while. Not really supposed to talk to outsiders. I just wanted to help.
Ryan unhooked his plasma cutter, turned it so the handle faced out. No threat. He set it down in plain sight, the gesture patient.
I don't bite. Only weapon I've got is for cutting. And I don't use it on people who bring me dinner. So come help me. That's all.
Silence. Wind stirred the scent of raw meat, drifting through heat waves. Ryan stayed motionless, trusting patience more than words. Sometimes you held the door open and waited. Dusk edged across the sand as Ryan knelt by a shallow fire ring. The day's heat faded, replaced by a crisp mineral cold. Shadows stretched long, camp and ship blending with the blue horizon. He plucked thick fur from the zaboo, fingers stiff with work and chill, each motion slow, deliberate, making the process visible, an unspoken invitation to anyone watching from the dark. The fur clung with static, a few barbs pricking his knuckles. Fat slicked his fingers as he stripped the meat, hands steady despite the ache in his joints. Ryan laid the clean carcass across a makeshift spit. Sparks leapt as he fed, kindling to the fire, flames catching with a hiss. He set his multi-tool down, back to the camp, shoulders loose, showing trust. The meat sizzled over the fire, fat dripping into coals. The smell of salt, blood, and char drifted across camp, carried on cooling air. When the meat browned, he tore off a piece, tested it with his teeth, hot, salty, sharp against the bland memory of rations. He set a second portion on a flat stone, close to the shadows, easy to take without stepping into the light. From beyond the fire's edge, Ilera watched. The scent reached her, cooked meat, not raw survival. Her mouth ached, fangs heavy, but she held her ground. Hunger warred with fear, with the memory of habits shed never shed.
Good meat. Better than the rations. Whoever left this knew what they were doing.
The stone with its portion stayed where it was, cooling by degrees. The silence between fire and darkness stretched, broken only by the crackle of wood and the distant call of something hunting. Ryan ate slowly, never turned to look for her. When finished, he cleaned his hands on his pants, lay back against the rucksack, and closed his eyes, the pose open, defenseless, offered wordless trust. He wasn't asleep. He waited, breathing slow, heart open, showing her she could approach or not. Trust given, not demanded. In the dark beyond the coals, Ilera edged a step closer. The ache in her fangs faded, hunger shifting, becoming something riskier. Want, hope, the memory of not being alone. The fire had burned low, coals fading to red. The desert was black beyond the ring of light, cold sinking in. Every sound stretched thin. Bare footsteps shifted in the sand, soft, deliberate, unmistakably present. Ryan's breath caught. His eyes snapped open, pulse tight but steady, pilot's instinct. He stayed still, only his gaze moving, clock in the shadow bending over him, close enough to touch. She hovered on the edge of flame, blue skin turned almost black, fangs catching ember light. Yellow eyes fixed on him, hunger carved sharp in every line. The two fresh marks at his neck glistened, a silent reminder, close, but no threat made.
So, Miss Mosquito, why not sit with me instead? I have meat if you can eat that. Or I eat, and you feed on me. Deal?
She twitched, crouched for a split second, muscles bunching, then sprang. Sand exploded. Fire shadows flickered. She had been gone, a ghost in the dark. But Ryan's hand shot out, fingers closing around her wrist mid-vanish. The world seemed to stutter. Her escape stopped cold, her feet flying out, gravity yanking her down. She landed with a muffled whump on her ass, tangled hair and shock frozen on her face, all predatory grace wiped away.
Not getting away that easy. I'm not afraid of you. I don't want to harm you. Sit. You're quick, but not that quick.
She blinked, stunned, then gave a tiny, almost offended snort. Grit stuck to her legs as she brushed herself off, tossing him a sideways glare with a reluctant half-smile sneaking in.
No one's ever caught me before. Not even close.
Ryan shrugged, hands still firm. Neither moved, until Alara's jaw unclenched and her chest hitched, a breath between a laugh and a sigh slipping out. The night seemed to loosen its grip. Ryan eased his hold, thumb skimming her wrist in open reassurance, but didn't let go.
Mosquito? I don't know that word. Imalarian. Navigator, mechanic, monster if you like. I need blood. Most run before they even ask my name. But there's nobody else out here except us. I should go. I'm not good at staying. But I want to try if you'll have me.
He released her wrist, slow, deliberate. Ryan reached for a ration pack, cracking the seal and setting it between them, then looked back, open-palmed. He nudged it closer, not breaking eye contact, making space on the blanket beside him.
Don't run. I like the company. You can eat cooked meat, from what I know. Better than raw, at least to me. So here, better than out there hunting alone.
Her shoulders slumped, fight gone out of her. She stayed, the fire's glow tracing their joined hands. Hunger shimmered in the air, not just hers. For the first time, she didn't pull away. Ryan sat by the fire, roasted zebu steaming on a flat stone. He tore off a chunk, held it out, open hand, no hesitation. Ilara's fingers closed around it, and she ripped into meat, first ravenous, then slowing, almost reverent. Juice streaked her chin, dripped to her wrists. For a while, she only ate, shoulders sinking as a memory of hunger faded.
The dark ones, the ones who called us vermin, came in ships, blacked out the sky. Didn't speak. Just burned it all. Forests, cities, oceans, glass from orbit, then storms that never stopped. I was stationed here, repair outpost. Orders said run or dig in. I went into cryo when the last call came, hoping to wake to something better. It didn't happen. She stared at the fire, her hand flexing in the dirt. After the burning, nothing lived. Storms kept the world sealed. Wildlife gone, supplies gone. I woke starving, nothing left but ghosts and zebu.
She gnawed another strip, jaw working, desperate. Spat a bone into the sand, wiped her mouth on her arm. Her words came ragged, mouth still half full.
When I crawled out of cryo, nothing worked. No fire, no heat, nothing. 3 weeks hunting zebu, ate them raw, stank for days. Couldn't scrub it out, not from my hands, not from my head. She spoke into the smoke, voice low, thumb scraping the bones clean.
Grease slicked her fingers as she turned a roasted rib in the firelight. Her nose wrinkled, a memory flashed and was gone. The scent of salt, pepper, and char clung to the air, unfamiliar, almost comforting. For a moment, she closed her eyes, breathed in the heat, let it settle in her chest.
This is much better. Salt, peppery, smoke. Almost like something I remember. I hated eating them before, raw blood, nothing but survival. Now, this almost feels real again.
Ryan slid the battered salt and pepper tin closer, shoulder brushing hers. He didn't speak, just watched her lick her fingers, caught between hunger and relief. Ryan, silent, reached out, wiped a streak of juice and blood from her wrist with his thumb, then left his hand there, palm up, between them. She stiffened, a flinch, not fear, but reflex. Her hand hovered above his, claws half curled, breath caught in her throat. Zabul blood smeared his skin. She blinked, lips parting in embarrassment. For a heartbeat, she looked away, ashamed, exposed, then quietly, she set her palm against his, fingers folding to meet his warmth, letting herself be held. Her shoulders eased. She met his gaze, the faintest nod, permission, trust, gratitude all tangled together.
So you've been using me at night, just enough to survive.
Ilara's hands knotted in her lap, shoulders curling inward, gaze locked on the fire. For a long moment she didn't speak, breath catching, eyes flickering with something unsteady. She nodded.
I didn't mean to. First time was instinct. Couldn't help it. But after I tasted your blood, I felt alive again. Like it fixed something broken inside me. My mind cleared, the cold faded. I could feel you let me. That's why I kept coming back, and I still need more to finish healing. Cryo takes things from you. Your blood gives it back.
She risked a glance at him, quick and scared. Then looked away, jaw tight. For a breath, she held her silence, hands curling tighter, before her voice came again, almost lost.
I didn't feel like a monster with you. I felt like I mattered. You tried to communicate, connect, not kill.
She hesitated, searching for any sign of rejection in his eyes.
And because I wasn't so alone.
Ryan let his thumb brush her knuckles, grounding her to the moment. He watched her orange eyes watch him carefully, still weary, but calmer from his touch.
I never thought I'd have someone to talk to out here. I'm glad you stayed. At least we're not alone. Let's figure it out. Together.
She huffed, a small sound he was beginning to recognize as satisfaction. He felt her hand relax in his, tension easing from her shoulders. She blinked hard, eyes shining in the firelight, maybe tears, if her kind had them. Sparks rose, lost in the cold desert dark. The fire's warmth spread between them. Two survivors, not alone, not monsters, just hungry and finally together. The fire was little more than a blush of coals now, red-orange fading under the desert wind. Shadows stretched beyond the circle of warmth, swallowing edges, stealing distance. The air turned sharp, biting through thin fabric. Ilara's breath puffed silver as every stick she fed the fire snapped loud in the hush. She sat hunched, knees drawn up, sticks cradled in her hands, breaking them one by one and feeding them to the dying coals, buying time, fighting something unseen.
Why help vermin?
Ryan shifted, drawing his knees up to his chest. He watched her, eyes steady, tone certain.
You're not vermin, Ilara. You're a navigator. A mechanic. You can help me repair the ship. How is that bad?
She said nothing, just kept breaking sticks, feeding the fire, fingers moving to keep from trembling. The desert's cold deepened. Stars shimmered overhead, far, merciless, beautiful. Each stick she fed the fire burned shorter, weaker. The darkness grew thick, pressing in until past the circle of fire the world was nothing but risk and memory. She moved, a slow, glacial slide of 1 foot forward, sand crunching under her heel. She froze, breath caught, waiting for him to pull away. He didn't. Another step. Her arms hung loose, hands open, fighting the urge to bolt. Breath shallow, chest tight. She could smell him now, salt, old sweat, heat of blood just under the skin, the pulse in his neck. Hunger twisted inside her, sharp and raw. She stopped 3 feet away, shoulders hunched, weight forward, tore between running and reaching. Moving closer meant accepting this was real, that he wasn't going to scream, that she could trust herself not to lose control, that 50 years alone might actually end. She moved again, one more step, hands trembling.
Take your time.
She hesitated, swayed slightly, almost bolted, every instinct pulling her back. But she held, watching him, reading the quiet invitation in his eyes. Then she was standing over him, close enough for firelight to gild her yellow eyes, to catch the flash of fangs behind parted lips. And then she bent, arms sliding around his shoulders. She hugged him first. Her choice, her weight against his chest, hair falling in a cool curtain across his neck.
Is this okay?
Yeah, this is okay.
She tilted her head, found his neck, fangs sliding in, slow, not frantic. A careful, measured claiming. Intimate. Blood flowed. Warmth spread. She fed, not gorging, just taking what he offered. His pulse thrummed under her tongue. His arm tightened around her, holding her close as the desert wind bit at their skin. She stopped feeding after a couple of minutes, relaxed, and just nuzzled into him.
Finally not alone anymore.
Ryan felt it. Not just a bite, but a hum inside, like touching a live wire but soft. Not pain, connection. Her loneliness bleeding into him, her presence echoing through his blood. This wasn't hunger. This was her. 50 years of solitude singing into the hollow places in him. His hand tightened, not to hold her down, but to keep her close. That same presence he'd felt when she moved, when he caught her mid-bolt, it sang now, deeper, her loneliness bleeding through his blood. 50 years of solitude, matching the hollow places in him. Recognition. She wasn't a monster. She was here, and she was seen. By the dying fire, in the deep desert dark, two survivors stopped being alone. Night draped itself over the desert, but for once, the fire burned warm, not just for heat, but for company. Dallaire and Ryan, no longer strangers or monsters, just two survivors bracing for the next dawn, together. Want to know how their uneasy truce holds, or what truly lurks beneath the sand? Catch the next episode, where survival, trust, and something more. Make sure to like and subscribe, helps the channel grow, or visit Patreon to see hotter work of ours.